Hello, I think we're live. Hello, I think I'm probably crooked as hell. Okay, let me see if I can. Hello. So here I am in Radisson Blue, downtown Fargo, getting ready for the Fargo Moorhead block party as part of Fargo Moorhead Pride. I'm making a little surprise cameo. Very excited. This is going to be a fantastic show featuring all kinds of local and regional performers and starring Kylie Sonique Love from RuPaul's Drag Race. So I am in the Radisson Blue and I have my camera barely hanging on to this little lamp over here. My computer is over here. So I will probably be looking down from time to time to check the chat. I don't have my glasses on and I didn't announce that I was going live. So I don't know if anybody's even going to stop by. If you do, welcome. If you are the replay crew, we love you. We appreciate that as well. Wanted to share this because I'm getting ready to do a big full brand review of Made by Mitchell. And so I was like, you know what, let's bring a bunch of Made by Mitchell products. And I'm running a little bit behind because it's day drag. I had said I was never going to do day drag before and they lured me out of captivity. And so, but I'm working on a full brand review of Made by Mitchell. So I was like, let's do as much of a full face as we can with Made by Mitchell products. So welcome. If you don't know me, my name is Janessa. I'm North Dakota's trash queen of glam, geek, and gore. And for today, we're doing a little Get Ratchet with me. So what I've got on my face already, and I've got pop-ups happening that are going to block my chat. Go away. What I've got going on my face already is I do have the Smashbox Photo Finish Control Mattifying Primer. I put this on first. And then I used the Made by Mitchell Blur Primer. This is kind of similar to like the Auric Glow Lust or the Urban Decay, that Face Bond Luminizer. It's kind of similar. With Made by Mitchell, one thing I'm going to talk about is all of his complexion products are doe foots. I don't love that. Trying to like paint this on with as much as I wear. Hello, Janet. Hello. Welcome. I'm so excited you're here. This was kind of spontaneous. So I was like, let's pop on. See if anybody shows up. Excuse me. Then I have 2 shades of the Build Foundation. When I ordered them, I ordered one that was too light and one that was too dark. So I kind of try to mix them. And then I use one of the Brighten concealers. And the shade names are weird. And I don't know if I'm reading them correctly all the time. Because like this concealer is LBR2. This is LB9. And this is HB11, I don't really know, or maybe MB11. His stickers leave a little bit to be desired. But yeah, so we're doing some Made by Mitchell products. And so I've done that kind of complexion. And of course, I didn't bring eye primer because of course I didn't. But I did have from Made by Mitchell, this is a little gel glaze cream eyeshadow in Peach Dusk. And I've decided, I've got 2 outfits. I've got kind of a very rainbowy outfit that's kind of my to the venue and mingling with the crowd. And then my dress for my number, I'm just doing one number, is black and white. And then I've got this kind of nudie beige coat that goes over it. Hello, Lock Maiden. Welcome. Nice to see you. So I was like, I think I'm going to do like peach and blue with some accent colors. To go more with the performance dress, and the rainbow dress will go with anything because it's just rainbow and beautiful. So I did put down a little bit of this as like an eye primer, and then I powdered it with the Polite Society peach powder because I don't have any like loose or setting powders from Made by Mitchell. So welcome. Yeah, so I'm just going to get ready and I'll just kind of talk about what I'm using, and I'll check the chat from time to time because like I said, the chat's over here in the corner, and so I'll be looking down at that. But I think we're mostly set up. It's hard to tell because when I look at the camera, it's over here, but then I have to check over here. I think we're good. So yeah, let's go ahead. And so now that I've got that primer down, I'm gonna bring my mirror a little closer so I don't have to lean so much. So yeah, it looks like you can still see my eyes while I'm doing this. So let's get some eyeshadow palettes out because I have a few from Made by Mitchell, and I have this one is like the photo palette, and it's like a photo frame. And I ordered I don't know if you remember this or if anybody else saw this, but A24, who put out Maxine. It was the 3rd in that trilogy of like X, Pearl, and Maxine. They did with Half Magic Beauty, they did like a special edition collection that was like a lip gloss, an eyeshadow, and maybe one other thing. And it came with this collector card, so I just put that in the little palette. I thought that was fun because I liked Maxine. And so I think I'll be using a lot of these shades because you can see we've got some peachy oranges over here and we've got some blues. And so I'm going to do kind of a peach into blue look. But I have a couple other palettes as well. So let me see. Because I also have this one. This was one of his first. This was the Feet on the Ground. And I really do like this, but I'm not going heavily green. I know I'm going against type because I love green. And I have thought about doing like a rainbow look. And there are a couple of nice purples. There's kind of a purple. It's backwards. And there's kind of like more of a ruby berry purple. And so I brought this one. I don't know that there's much that I'll need from this, but I'll keep it around because some of these lighter shimmers might work in the inner corner. So that I've had for a while, and I do really, really like that one. Let's see. Then there's this is probably my favorite. This is the Where the Man Goes. Mangoes, it's kind of a play on Where the Man Goes, Where the Man Goes. And this is kind of an almost rainbow palette. It has like one kind of jewel-toned red and one kind of very red-leaning purple. So it doesn't really have a ton of purples, but you could do pretty much a rainbow look, especially if you mixed a couple of these. And so this has some brights. I think I might start with this bright yellow shade in the inner corner. And then what else? What other eyeshadows? I brought all the eyeshadows that I had from Made by Mitchell because I always go into packing panic, and so I bring too much. And so I feel like I should have a couple little these. I've talked so much about how much I hate this packaging, and he does so much stuff in this packaging. And this is a little green and yellow eyeshadow quad. Very pretty. And then we have this one. I thought this will probably get some use as well because this is kind of a blue purple. This has some fun. It's kind of, that looks almost black, but it's more of like a navy blue. And so I thought these would certainly work. So I'll probably use mostly this and the photo palette. I think that's going to be, yeah. I like that because there is also a bright yellow in here that I could use for that inner corner. But let's start with, let me find a brush. As always happens when I do like day drag, I'm running behind, so I'm a little bit scattered, so I apologize for that. I hope everybody's having a lovely Saturday. I hope you guys are doing well. Looks like there's 3 people watching. Hello, welcome. Yeah, I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope you're having a good day. I am super excited for this. Oh, yes, they had like 4 of those quads, and I agree with you. I think they would have made a really cute palette. I'm wondering, though, if they maybe thought that it would be a little too similar to this, if they put it all into one big palette, because this has a lot of brights and very colorful. The shades are very different, but sometimes people, if there's like a green in 2 palettes, they'll be like, it's the same. And it's like, well, no, they're very different tones, but I say that as someone who's addicted to green and needs to own every single green. So I'm a little bit of a mess. I'm going to go into Sand Castles, which is this shade right here. And I'm going to do that on the inner part of my eye. This is kind of a peachy shimmer. I think this will pair nicely with, can you see me? Yeah, I'm still pretty much, I'm afraid to move that camera. So if it's too wild and I end up going off camera too much, you can let me know, and I may try to adjust the camera a little bit, but it's so barely hanging on to the top of that lamp that I'm just trying to let it have space. And I don't know what's happening. I have this little lighted mirror because the light in here, unless I moved everything over to the window, is not great. But I couldn't get this lighted mirror to plug in to there. This desk has 2 outlets that have plugs in them, and then it has 2 USB outlets. And this has a USB cord, and it wouldn't plug in, it wouldn't turn on from the USB cord. So then I unplugged one of the things that's plugged in. I don't even know what I unplugged. And I brought my phone charger with a little block, and I plugged the USB cord into that. And then it worked. So now I have a little bit of light from this mirror, which is kind of fighting with the light from the window. But I'm when you get ready in hotels, sometimes you have to deal with whatever the situation is. So I cannot be a chooser. I'm not exactly a beggar. I mean, I'm in a hotel room. Let me tell you, I've gotten ready for shows and had to like dress at some pretty sketchy places in my long and storied career. So like being in a hotel room at the Radisson Blu is hardly something to complain about. But the light is a little bit challenging sometimes. Yeah. And I wish I could figure out how to make this camera zoom, because I also feel like I'm so far away, but I don't know how to make it any closer. Actually, I wonder, okay, things are about to get weird. So if you have motion sickness, look away, because I'm going to move this camera and I'm going to try to like, and what happens if I put it on the top of the mirror? So, I might have figured something out. She's a woman in STEM. There we go. Oh, that's maybe much better. Okay. Hello, hello. I'm trying to look sideways so I can see. I think that worked. All right. Titular heroine, hello. How are you doing? Nice to see you here. Yeah, we're just having a little fun as I'm getting ready for a Pride block party. Oh yeah, I think this will be much better for watching the application. So sorry that you had to sit through that Blair Witch experience, but I hope that this will make the actual application experience better. So I'm just putting that peach on, and it's really kind of blending into that primer and my skin tone, but it does have a nice, pretty flash to it. Oh no, I'm sorry you're feeling sickly. Part of my chat is cut off. This is really weird. Okay, let me... It's wild. Okay, there's something happening with how the screen is set up where part of the chat is cut off. So I apologize if I missed part of your comments. I can see the comments, but I think I can see all the comments. I can't see the comment box. So the last comment that I can see is Lock Maiden saying, BRB, we'll see you soon, Lock. Thanks for stopping by, and hopefully we'll see you again a little later. But yeah, I can't see anything below that. So if there is anything below that, I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm so tech challenged sometimes. But yeah, so that's the first shade. I don't think I want this to go too orange, because there are these kind of orangey peaches, but this is very like neon. So maybe I'll go into this one. This is a matte kind of tan, because I have some glitter that I think I'm going to try to add a little bit later on in the application. So let me find like a paddle brush, or maybe that. I like that. Yeah. Luckily, I still had all these brushes packed from when I went on my little road trip. I didn't think that I was going to be using brushes and things quite so soon after that, but I'm just going to try to build out the rest of the shape and blend that into the top of the peach. Okay, so then we've got, this light is fighting me. That's all the chat. Okay, good. I'm glad. Because I don't know how to reshape it, and I'm always running late for Daydre. That's just kind of my natural setting. And so I'm like, I don't really have time to stop and Google to try to figure it out. I hope I don't hate this eye look. I don't know how I'm feeling about this. It's just because it's so neutral. I'm sure that when I start adding color and glitter and things, I will come around to it. But anytime I start doing something neutral, even if I'm in a mood to do a neutral, I'm always like, oh, I don't know if this looks good. And I think it's just that it looks different. And so I wonder if it would help to close those curtains. Because I think that's the problem, is I'm getting a little bit too much light on this side of my face. Okay, I think I'm going to do that. So hold, please. welcome to the chaos. And also my chair that I have here is like the back feels like it's starting to come loose, which I don't love. And so that's very weird. So I will be right back. You can see my beautiful tan, my caftan that my friend Angie made. Let me go ahead and I don't necessarily want it to look like I'm just sitting in a cave, but yeah, this green caftan my friend Angie made. There's my neck. Oh. Also, this chair like sticks to the floor in a way that I don't love. Okay. Now we're back. Okay, I think, yeah, okay. Now that most of the light is coming from the mirror, I can see much better. Okay. Very, very good. Hopefully that's still good for everybody. Yeah, so let's go over here. Let's start building this up. Because this tan color, oh, thanks, Janet. I'm glad that the light is still working because it's much better for me. I appreciate that. Yeah, so we're just kind of, this is so, yeah, I think it definitely helped. I can see myself much better. When I was trying to do this side, I just was getting this little patch of light and I just couldn't really tell what I was doing. And I was worried that I was going to really overdo it. So there we have. And of course, the eye makeup are sisters, not twins. I know usually we say that about brows. For brows, mine aren't even sisters. They're like two girls who went to the same school and don't even like each other very much. But I figure as long as they're remotely the same, people are going to be so far away from me. And I'm so lucky because I said I was never going to do outdoor drag again. A couple years ago, when all those drag bills first kicked off, like things here in North Dakota got weird. There was this religious group called Protect North Dakota Kids. And when I tell you that I was getting death threats like daily, and like at one point I had to talk to the FBI, and like the Department of Labor does all of our non-discrimination stuff. So I was talking to her and the venue and the woman who put on our brunch all getting death threats. And it was a little crazy. And we did an outdoor show. And I was the first drag performer to ever perform on the steps of the North Dakota Capitol, which seems like a really great experience, except that it was 98 degrees and there were 30-mile-an-hour gusts and like 20-mile-an-hour sustained winds. It was so hot and disgusting, and I just hated it. And so then after that, I just was like, and I told them, I was like, you can plan whatever you want. Just know that if you plan any outdoor drag activities, I will not be taking part. And they were very sweet, and they were like, yeah, we understand. We'll look at that. We'll maybe not do that again. And so I wasn't going to do it. And then this one, they asked me if I would come make a little cameo appearance. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. And I didn't even look at it. And then I looked and it was outdoor drag. Well, then, not last night, but the night before, we had these huge storms. Like at my house, my power was out for almost 24 hours. Unfortunately, where my office is came on at like 2 p.m. And so I had to go to work. But I didn't have power at my house for like almost 24 hours. And because of that, there was a bunch of rain down here in the outdoor location. It got too muddy. So they're like, oh, we got to switch to indoors. And I'm like, oh no, that's too bad. So we're actually going to be indoors tonight. Yes. Yeah, it was a little wild. It was the first year that those drag bills really started popping up. And we were doing an all ages brunch for Bismarck Pride. And yeah, like just out of the woodwork. So this Protect North Dakota Kids, hey Nina, how's it going? Protect North Dakota Kids, they started doxing drag performers, and I was either the first or the second to get doxed, where they like posted our social media, and they weren't very savvy about it at first because the first couple, mine included, had personal information like the kind that's illegal. And so then I had to call the police and I had to fill out a police report. And because they included like my email and my social media, I started getting like death threats. And I mean, it's not my first time at the rodeo. I'm a big old drag queen and I'm mouthy in North Dakota. So it's not the first death threat I've ever gotten. They got real creative, but certainly not the first time. But yeah, it was a little bit wild for a while. And then to have that show on the steps of the Capitol, and it was so hot. And I did my first number, and there was no place for us to change. They always do this to me because they forget that if I'm hosting, other people have like 7 numbers in between their 2 numbers to change. So they have plenty of time. I have 3 minutes in between numbers if I'm going to change, and I have to like go somewhere. And so they had this trailer that was like halfway across the parking lot. And I was like, I don't have time to change. And I did the first number, and it was so hot, and my wig blew off, and it was so much. And so I just went to the DJ and I said, I'm not doing my second number. I'm just going to sit here on the steps and I'm just going to announce everybody. And so I just like announced the rest of the show. And so then after that, I was like, that was my breaking point. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Oh, it was too much. And so I laugh about it now. I mean, it was pretty awful at the time, but I do have to say, for as much vitriol and as much like hatefulness as we got, not a single performer canceled from either of those shows, from the brunch or from the Capitol Steps show. So people were committed. We were like, I guess if we're going out this way, this is how we're going out. I'm going to go into this shade Blue Skies, and I'm going to start building that shimmer next to the peach. But yeah, so it was a little bit wild, but that was the end of my like day drag. And now I feel bad. Like I feel almost like I might have manifested this storm so that I wouldn't have to do day drag. This is totally the wrong brush. I don't know why I picked a big fluffy brush like this when I'm trying to put a shimmer down on top of a mat. I for sure, that's a dirty brush though, don't put that in there. I need a paddle brush. I need a stiff paddle brush. Dear bag of brushes, please. I packed 6,000 brushes. I must have a paddle brush. All right, and so I'm gonna see if this will lay down. This one is feeling a little bit hard pan, and so I might, or maybe it's just the texture as it's kind of, it might be all right. Let me see if this lays down now that I have a paddle brush. It's going a little better. I'm gonna put a little, I did bring some glitter glue. Yeah, it's one of those things, and that's the thing is people react when I tell them that I've had death threats. People do get very concerned and they're like, oh my God. And then I have to remember that like, that's not a normal thing. I just honestly, because I've been like kind of a public figure on a very, very low scale, in a place like North Dakota, where we even, you know, depending on how the country is swinging us more progressive or more conservative, we're always more conservative. So, I forget that like that's not something that people are necessarily going to be like, oh yeah, me too. And so it's definitely very strange. And that's the thing is that like I have never had a like physical altercation. I haven't had any sort of actual attack, and I know intellectually that 99.99% of those like threats that come in or whatever, it's just somebody being Billy Big Balls behind a keyboard. They're anonymous. That's what the internet has done, is it's made people think that they can just share all of their like terrible thoughts, and like almost none of them are going to like follow through on anything. But that's the thing, is that it only takes one, right? Like that's you're playing the law of averages, where the vast majority are going to be just people talking hot air, trying to impress people on the internet with their like big mouth or whatever. But you know, we've had enough hate crimes in this country that we know that like every once in a while there's going to be one that really means it, and you don't know which is which. Like they don't come with a sign that says, no, I'm one of the real crazies. And so you have to take all of them at least somewhat seriously, because you don't want to ignore the one that turns out to be the one. And so that's why there was so much like discussion. We had extra security, you know, all these conversations with these different law enforcements. You know, I had a police report, and since I was the first one, then I like shared it to all the performers. If you get any threats or anything, you can call in to your local police department, and you can also tell them that the Grand Forks Police Department has a report, and here's the number, and we'll like gather up these like shared stories and things. And So if something were to happen, and everything went off without a hitch, and the group that was like protesting us showed up to protest with 4 people. Girl. 4 people showed up for them. I mean, it was really bad. And I have to say that since that all died down, that group has kind of fizzled out. And I think part of the reason why that group has fizzled out is because since that summer of Pride, where they were so concerned with it, at least 2, and I think maybe 3 of their like really active members have been arrested on SA charges against children. So as much as they're talking about protecting North Dakota kids, it turns out that we needed to protect North Dakota kids from Protect North Dakota Kids members. And so, yeah, it was an interesting time. It was an interesting time. Yes, I do love that when they're like, we're going to protest and we're bringing everybody and we're bringing the Lord's energy. And I'm like, well, you might have the Lord's energy, but you only have 3 bodies with you. So how'd that work out for you? Yeah, it was so tiny. It was like 4 people. And then when we went to the Capitol, I think the number grew to like 7, I think with that, because the brunch was at a hotel. And so they had to stay on the sidewalk because they had to stay on public property, because the minute they touched hotel property, they could be arrested. And so the sidewalks were nowhere near even where people were entering to go to the brunch. And so most people, like, they drove by them, but they hardly even saw them because they had to be in this other area. Yeah, it is almost laughable. Yeah, it's just... Oh, so I'm using Made by Mitchell products. This is their... I forget what this is called, but it's like a photo-themed one. I put a Maxine postcard that I got with the little Maxine collab that they did with Half Magic Beauty. And then this is the palette that we're working with so far. I'm loving this bright blue shimmer. I think I'm going to go into a little bit of this peach and just kind of try to soften the line a little bit. Peach and light blue are kind of like blue and orange, so I don't want to go too hard because they could get muddy, but if I can just kind of mess around that line a little bit and make it not quite so... Yeah, I forget what this is called. I got it on Beauty Bay, and they had a bunch of stuff that was like photography themed and like share your memories and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and that's what happens so much. And that's something that I've learned about Republicans is that a lot of times the things that they are screaming the loudest about, to me, a criticism is a confession for them at this point. I think that they know that they're guilty, so they're trying to like push the guilt off onto other people. And it's just a little bit ridiculous. Let's see. I'm going to go into Bikini Babe. This is in the Wear the Mangoes palette. And I'm going to bring a little bit of that kind of around to here. And then I think I'm going to darken that with the little palette. Always grabbing for brushes. Yes, projecting. Absolutely. There's so much projection of like the worst of the worst. It's so bad. Ooh, I like that with that blue. I'll go over the edge with that more of that blue shimmer, but I like that. And I like the kind of beigey tan color around it. I kind of like that. I'm always excited when I go into a look with no real plan. Like I have a basic generic sort of idea of what I want, but I don't really have a plan. And then when I actually like it, because sometimes I'm like, that's okay. I can live with it. It'll be fine. But sometimes I'm like, oh, I actually really kind of like this. And I like the way this is coming together. It's giving me very like Malibu Barbie, beachy kind of vibes. Yeah, so I'm excited. We're having a block party tonight, and I'd mentioned this at the beginning, but we've got a bunch of like local and regional performers and it is featuring Kylie Sonique Love from RuPaul's Drag Race. So she was on season 4 or 5, I feel like, or was she earlier? I feel like she was season 4 or 5. And then she won All Stars 6, 8. She won one of the All Stars. I've watched the season, but I can't remember which it is. Yeah, that's always exciting when you just go in, because makeup for me a lot of times is playtime. I mean, when I have a show, it has to come together somewhat, or else I'm in a little bit of trouble. Like, I need it to come together a certain amount, but sometimes it's still just playtime. And it's like, this is one number. I'm going to be on a big stage in a big area. So like any little imperfections, nobody's going to be close enough to see. So I don't have to worry that much. But then when it actually does work out, it's like, oh, that's really fun. Now it's almost, things have gotten a little dark outside. Like the sun has gone behind a cloud. And now it almost feels a little too dark, but this lighted mirror is working pretty well. There we go. So that, I kind of like that. I think that's fun. My top 3 Drag Race queens. So I haven't watched all the seasons. I watched through like season 7. My favorites, I love Trixie. I'm such a Trixie fan. I'm so in love with all the stuff that she's done with her sort of stardom after Drag Race. I think she's done just such a fantastic. I love Jinx Monsoon. I love A Theater Queen, and all of her like Broadway stuff has been amazing. And if I had to pick another one, I mean, I do like Katya, but I kind of think of Trixie and Katya. I like Trixie stuff alone, but I also like Trixie and Katya together. So I'm going to go into a little bit of this shade in this Made by Mitchell quad. So if there was another one, I probably should say BB Zahara Benet, because I actually knew her before Drag Race. I performed with her a couple times at this bar that we used to have in Moorhead called the I-Beam. And she came and did a couple shows when she was running for a pageant. And she is inadvertently the reason why this bar, we used to work for free. We used to just go and work for tips. And then he invited this group from Minneapolis, including BB, to come and do a show. They were doing a fundraiser for a pageant, and they paid her all this money. And she came and did a lovely show, and we performed with her, and it was great. And then she wanted to come and do a thank you show. But even though it was a thank you show, it was like, but you still have to pay me a whole bunch of money. And then they said, well, this time we're going to bring our own crew, and we just need we'd like Janessa to come back, and we want Kelly, my drag daughter, was another one of the main performers at the I-Beam. And they said, we just want Janessa and Kelly, and we'll bring the rest of the performers. So Kelly and I are at the bar, and it's getting later and later, and there's no sign of them. The show was supposed to start at probably like 11, and we thought, and sometimes people are late, and we thought, they're probably getting ready at the hotel until they'll show up like fully ready to go. And it got later and later and later and later. And eventually someone got a call, and they had said there was some big drama with some of the girls, because the Minneapolis girls back in the day used to have a reputation for getting into like fights, like box knife fights and shit. And so apparently they had gotten into some big fight, and Miss Stevie, who was their MC, got arrested, and a bunch of them were one of them went to the hospital. It was this whole thing. And so they didn't make it. And so Kelly and I just performed our songs, and that was it. And so then we went back to the bar, and we said, look, you were going to pay them a ton of money. And they didn't even bother to show up. They didn't bother to tell you they weren't coming until, an hour after the show was supposed to start. And we're here every month. And we always are here. We're dedicated. We're on time. We work hard. You need to pay us. And they agreed. I was kind of surprised. They were like, yeah, you're right. We should pay you. And that's how we started getting paid at the I-Beam for performing for our monthly shows, is because they invited this group. And for the second show, they didn't show up. Yeah, so I was pretty excited about that. So that was, there's always blessings in struggle. And so even though we got left behind by this group, I'm going to take a little bit of this little shimmer shade here, and I'm going to like just do some stuff here to kind of blend a little bit of this together and make it a little bit smoother. But yeah, I'm liking that. So yeah, it was a good time. I missed that bar. We had a lot of fun at that bar. I was their show director for well over a decade. They closed twice. They closed once because Fargo and Moorhead are like on the border to Minnesota. So Fargo's in North Dakota, Moorhead is in Minnesota. And I think that Minnesota passed a smoking ban for bars before North Dakota did. So the I-beam was already, as gay bars tend to do, they were, always just barely keeping up or whatever. And then for the smokers, they could just go across to North Dakota and be in a bar where they could smoke. So then they were like, we're losing business. We're just going to shut down. And then North Dakota also passed a smoking ban. So they decided to reopen. And then they were open for a couple years. And then they closed down again. They converted it into a different business. The guy who owned it, Kurt Kiefer, who has since passed away, rest in peace, Kurt. I worked with him a lot. He was a fun guy. But he had a lot of different businesses. And so he bought this Fargo rubber stamp company. And so our bar, which used to be absolutely shenanigans, became a place where you could order rubber stamps. I always just thought that was so funny. That's if they only knew. And when we had that closing show, let me tell you, we unleashed so much glitter. We're like, let's make sure that they find glitter here forever. Like no matter how much they clean, they'll find glitter forever. And so during the finale number, every performer was on stage for the finale number. We had like 8 or 9 cast members that were there. Everybody had one of those like those little cans of like craft glitter. That's like this big around and like that tall. And during the finale, everybody was throwing it up in the air. At one point, so I'm doing everybody had a little part of the finale and I was the last one to come out, and that's when they threw the glitter. And I was walking to the other side of the stage and there was so much glitter on the stage that my shoes started surfing. And I was worried that I was going to like slide right off the edge of the stage because there was so much loose glitter on the stage. It was ridiculous. But I was like, he's changing the bar. The bar's going out of business. I was like, what's he going to do? Fire me? Like, let's do it. So we were like, let's throw so much glitter. And he wouldn't have expected anything less from me because I was known for loving to throw glitter around. That was a fun time. That last show was pretty wild. But yeah, I really thought I was going to slide off the edge of that stage because there was so much glitter. I'm going to go into this light blue with the brush that I had. Well, I was hoping that this would mix better if I did this, but where's my blue brush? I'm so used to, I usually just have a color switch and I just switch them in between. I use the same brush over and over again. And now when I have separate brushes, I'm like, I have to go find the other brush. Yes, so much glitter. There was so much because I think, so everybody had their own can of glitter. I think during the finale, I had 2 cans of glitter. I mean, it was a glitter storm. Like it was ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. But it was a good time. And we shut her down in style. That is for sure. All right. How are we doing for time? We're at 4:18. Okay. We're doing pretty good. I'm supposed to be there about 5-ish. But the performances don't start till 6:30, and as always, when it's day drag, I'm always running a little bit behind. There we go. I like that. I think that's good. I am going to go into a little bit of, this is Horizon. This is even a darker navy blue. And I think I'll use that same brush that I used maybe I'll use this one, and I'll just do a little bit of, yeah, so I really like these Made by Mitchell shadows. I think the mattes are like a drier formula, but not gritty. And they do lay down really nice. The shimmers, I feel like they work better if you have a glitter glue. By themselves, sometimes they can be a little bit weak, but But yeah, I generally like the eyeshadow formula from Made by Mitchell. It's pretty good. All right, so there's that. So now I need a lower lash line. I think I'm going to bring that dark blue shimmer. I'm really liking that one. Oh, I've got a little pencil brush, I think, in here, don't I? Are you little? You are a little pencil brush. Okay. So let me do a little bit of this dark blue from this one. Does this have a name? This is the Blue Ya Mind quad. And I do really like this blue. So maybe I'm just going to do... There's that. And go quite a bit of the way in, but then I think I want a little bit of, I think, did I bring a color switch? Yeah, I did. Because I think for this little pencil brush, I am just going to use a little color switch. And I'm going to put the lighter blue next to that. All right. That one. What is that one called? Blue Skies. I don't know if I said that earlier. So let me... And I don't think I'm going to go in with that yellow. I am loving how this peach and blue looks together, and I don't think that yellow is going to add to it. I think that it's going to be a weird... I think it's better if we stick with the peach and blue together. And then I might need a little bit more of the peach on this side. Yes, if you guys are not following Janet on Instagram, you absolutely should, because she's always posting fabulous looks, and she has the cutest dog in the world who's always like making a little cameo. I love it. It's my favorite thing. I love it. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yes, Blow Your Mind by Eve and Gwen Stefani. I love that song. That's definitely my jam. All right. I am liking this. I don't know that I even need any glitter. I was going to add... The reason why is because Made by Mitchell has... They have like a mixing medium that I haven't tried out yet. And so I was like, I should try it with some glitter. It's called Swirl Solution. Let me see what glitter I brought, because I brought a lit glitter stack. And I think it's their bio glitters. Yeah, so these are all like biodegradable. They do have a really pretty blue one. So that's the shade Moonlit. Maybe I will just mix up a little bit of this. I think I have a palette in here. Come here. Aha! I found you. Yeah, I keep a little metal palette in my makeup container all the time. And so let me get a... Because I think if I mix that in and then put it where the kind of peach meets the blue and just have a little bit of that. I think I want a fluffier brush because I don't want to be super heavy-handed with it. All right, so let me put a little bit of Moonlit onto this palette. Oh, or a lot of it. I don't know if I can actually put it. No, it's not going to show. Let me dip a little bit in there. Now, the thing with these biodegradable glitters is they are a little bit thicker, like chunkier glitter. And so I'm just going to mix that together a little bit and then see if I can get it to stick to the brush. And then we'll just do like a little... Ooh, that's kind of pretty. I like that. Just kind of right where it I don't want a full glitter look. I just want a sort of like touched by glitter. Yeah, I like that. Just kind of over to there. Up a little bit. There. I like that. Does that show? Hopefully that shows pretty well. Interesting. I don't know. I mean, obviously this is my first time using it. My impulse is it kind of dries down. I wonder if it's alcohol based. Aqua alcohol. Yep, there's definitely an alcohol in here, so it's going to dry down. I really like the Lit Cosmetics, their liquid mixer. And I think that one has some alcohol in it too, but I think that I like that one a little bit better. I think it stays liquidy a little bit longer. This one feels like it's getting drier faster. So like I don't think it's a replacement for the Lit, but I think that if you like the Lit and you like painting on glitter like this into looks, I think that this would be something that you could use. Oh, I'm kind of liking that. Have I ever showed my makeup show kit? I have. I've done little like packing with me videos before, and like I did a live when I packed for vacation. And so, because I have, it's different every single time, and depending on what I'm doing and where I'm going, sometimes I use my like tried and true, and then sometimes I like to play and experiment a little bit. But I have thought about, because I wanted to do more regular lives, and so I have thought about maybe doing a live whenever I'm going to do a show when I pack up my makeup just to kind of show, or do an unpacking to show what I actually used. Sometimes I bring a lot more than I actually use. Hey, Sarah, how's it going? But yeah, I'll have to do that sometime. And maybe, I don't know, maybe on Sunday I'll do like an unpacking. Usually by the time I leave these things, I'm usually exhausted. But we'll see. Yeah, that's a possibility. All right, now I just have to draw some brows on. Yeah, 426. We're doing all right. What shades? I've got my little Glisten Cosmetics. So this is a Maron mixing medium. And I've got this Glisten Cosmetics, and I've got kind of a dual pan of browns. And I'm just going to kind of mix those together because I like the color that they make when they're mixed together. And so I'm going to mix. And do my eyebrow shape. Oh, that went on so smooth. The first eyebrow always goes on so smooth. And it lulls me into a sense of security because then the second eyebrow never goes on nearly that smooth. I might go a little thicker than that. Let's see. There we go. Okay, now Jesus, take the wheel. We're all gonna, everybody say your prayers. Oh, that this second brow is gonna work. Okay. There's something about crossing the face and trying to do this that I can never be as smooth. That wasn't too bad. That actually, and again, as long as these eyebrows are two girls who went to the same school, I'm happy with that because I'm going to put some powder over it. And again, I'm going to be so far away from people that if my eyebrows are a little wonky, which they always are, it's going to be okay. Okay, but what do we need to do? Let me look at them. Let me consider. This one, I need to go underneath a little bit, so it's a little bit lower. Sorry to poke you in the eye with this brush. There we go. I think that's close enough. I think that's, I can live with that. I like it. Okay. We're going to stop messing with it. I have a drink somewhere. Where did I put my drink? And have a little Coca-Cola with orange cream. This zero sugar. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry a little bit. Let's start some blush. So yes, Made by Mitchell is where that word blush comes from. So let's see, what do we have? Oh, I should do some contour. You'd almost think I knew how to do my face. Let me grab a clean sponge, and then, so I've got some of this liquid contour. This is a lighter shade, but I've also got, where is the darker contour? Where did you go? Okay. So I've got this Blush Balm, and this is in like a really dark, since I'm going to be far away from people, I think having the base of my contour really dark is going to be probably a good thing. Yes, Nina, blush. Oh, I never got to try the Oreo flavored Coke. I heard it was really good. So I'm going to draw some of this because this one is very dark. So we're going to put this on. We're going to go into the hairline, and then I'm going to use my dirty sponge for this since this is a little bit more extreme. And then if I need to pat some foundation over it, I can. And then we'll go over it and kind of blend in. These Blush Balms can be a little tough to blend because they are like a cream, but they don't always blend like a cream. I really like, Janet, I don't know if you've tried the Pepsi with cherry cream that they did this summer. I found it a whole lot when it first came out, and now I haven't found it for a month or so. And I'm a little sad because I really liked that one. It was like a cherries and cream Pepsi. It was so good. Yeah, there's something about this that like, it's a cream, but when they call it a Blush Balm, it does have almost like a greasy balm kind of finish to it. I don't know that I love it. But this was the darker contour that I had. So I was like, well, let's bring it. And then if we need to tone it down with some foundation, we can do that. But as long as we can build kind of the... Oh, yeah. If you see that cherries and cream Pepsi, and it comes in zero sugar, because I drink zero sugar just because I've gotten used to it. I had stopped drinking soda altogether. And then when I started to go back, I found regular soda to be too much. And so, but I needed the caffeine. I became a real bitch if I didn't have the caffeine. And so I found that I really liked zero sugar stuff because it was a little bit lighter. And I can still do regular stuff from time to time, like in a fountain, because that, I don't know, the mix works out a little bit differently. But for like canned or bottled soda, I have to have a zero sugar. Okay. Yeah, this is blending really inconsistently, but we're gonna put a liquid over. Oh, okay. I'm gonna put a liquid. Let's put the dirty sponge down. Oh, the Dr. Pepper vanilla. I've had that. That's really good. And I really like, so this is the weird thing, because I prefer Pepsi to Coke, but I do like the flavored Cokes. And I like Coke with cherry, and I like Coke with vanilla. But the cherry vanilla Coke, I don't like it. Make it make sense. I don't understand how my crazy brain works, because the individual flavors I like a lot. But then when they mix them together, it's not it. I don't know. I just can't deal with it. Oh, I don't know if anybody else. So this was very divisive among my little group. I also tried A&W has an ice cream sundae soda. And when I first got it, I didn't like it. And my friend Angie hated it. And I think part of it is that I don't think chocolate makes a good soda flavor. And when I first tasted it, all you get is chocolate. And that was too much. But the more I drank it, because of course I found a 12-pack, so I had to drink a bit of it. As I went on, I've noticed more of like a vanilla creamy kind of flavor behind the chocolate. And it started to grow on me. But it is definitely a divisive flavor. So if you see that one, it is a very interesting one. But yeah, you'll have to try it. And if you've ever had like a chocolate soda, if you liked it, then you would probably like that particular A&W soda. But I did not love it, but it grew on me. Oh yeah, I do like some Dr. Pepper. I really like, so my favorite is, it's so hard to find because I like Mellow Yellow Zero. Um, and it's hard to find in the can, but so I end up buying Mountain Dew Zero. But I really love Mellow Yellow, and Mellow Yellow in a glass bottle is like a whole other experience. It is so good. It's so hard to find, but I love it. Just trying to get a little bit more. I'm trying to get a nicer blend on this. Let's see. There we go. That's not too bad. We're gonna put a whole bunch of blurish on here. So let's. Oh. Yeah, in the 80s, I remember they tested a bunch of chocolate sodas and different soda flavors. Apparently, I found this out later, is that North Dakota in the 80s, a lot of like grocery companies would test products in North Dakota because we are, as a people, notoriously cheap. And so if they could sell it in North Dakota fairly well, then they felt like they could sell it other places. And so there were a lot of sodas that I would try when I was a kid that would be there for like 2 months and then just disappear forever. And I remember that Crush did like a pineapple soda. They did an apple soda and another one. I think it might have been like a raspberry or something. And those disappeared. And then like Bubblicious, I think, or Hubba Bubba, one of the bubblegum companies, did they did like a chocolate and a chocolate mint soda, which I thought was really interesting. Yeah, it's so strange. Oh, the Yoo-Hoo, yeah. Yeah, because Yoo-Hoo isn't carbonated, right? Like, and that's the weird thing with chocolate is I think the carbonation, I don't think it's a good fit. But so this is the Atlas of Anatomy. This is a little blush quad. He does these little blush quads. I think I'm gonna start with this one and then go into this one. So the darker one is Bloodshot, and then this one is Heartstrings. And I'm just going to kind of layer that over here. And then I want to go over both of them because I don't want it to be too pink. I want this kind of berry base, but then I want it to go very peach. And this is kind of a peachy pink. So then I'll go over it with more of a peachy peach. I'm just going to do a little funny bone. Oh, yeah. Jarritos. I don't know if it's supposed to be like Jarritos. It's a J, and so I feel like it should be like Jose or Juan, but I feel like I hear Jarritos, but maybe it's just because I hear North Dakota white people say it. So, but the pineapple in that is really, really good. And Crush sometimes does a pineapple. Fanta does a pineapple. A pineapple soda is really good. Oh, before I mix that. Oh, let's see. 4:37. Okay, I should speed this up a little bit. She's falling behind. All right. So let's do a little bit on this side. And again, the blush will probably be a little bit heavy because I'm going to be far away. And so I want to make sure it doesn't get lost in the light and the distance. So we might look a little clownish here on the tubes, but it'll look better on stage, I promise. All right, so now I'm going to do a little bit. I'm going to mix that on the brush where I used the darker color, and I'm going to put that kind of over, start to bring it a little bit this way. There we go. And kind of blend that in. So I think that's, oh, it's not the best blend I've ever done. That balm is just not wanting to mix with the powder. That's faux show. I might. Where did I put that Polite Society powder? Let's do a little bit of, and where did I put here's my little pop. I don't want a ton of it, but maybe I'll just kind of go over that just to kind of calm that balm. Calm the balm. Tastes like pumpkin pie. Interesting. All right. I'm pronouncing it right. Which way? Is it Jarritos or is it Jarritos? Oh, there we go. So that'll help with the balm. Jarritos. Okay, good. I thought that should be right, but then sometimes I'm like, I don't want to, if it's wrong, I don't want to say it wrong, but then I end up saying it wrong anyway. All right, so I'm going to go into a little bit more of this darker blush and kind of, again, just go over this area because I want this contour to have a bit of redness to it. These do not necessarily feel like they're blending. That balm, I don't love the texture of that balm. So now we're going to try to, let me see which other, I know I have 2 of these blush books. Blush book, where did you go? Because I think the other one might be peachier, because I do have this, like, this kind of peachy shade, but then I have Grow Your Peach, obviously going to be very peach. Ooh, so I'm going to do this peach over the pink, and then I'm going to do this one from the apples. So let's grab a new blush brush. And let's go into, so Peaches and Cream is this one. It's almost orange. And I'm going to really kind of, again, I want to kind of bring some peach to this. I wanted like a berry base, but I want to kind of go up and do almost like a blush draped kind of situation and just really, it's going to get a little bruisey, I think, but I think I'll be able to tame it down with some powder. I think that dark berry, and especially mixing it with that balm, I think that might have been a little bit of a mistake. I don't think I'm going to get exactly what I want, but we're going to keep at it, and we're going to add some more. Always more. I don't wear blush. I wear 6 blushes, so we love to mix them up a little bit. Yeah, because it's getting a little bit bruisey, but... And I always paint so much blush on, and then I put a wig on, and it covers a bunch of the stuff anyway. So, like, it looks a little clowny when I'm getting ready, but I do think that the deeper shade might have been a little bit of a mistake. I'm not getting the coverage over it that I thought I was going to get. I am liking this sort of blush drapey moment up to the temples. Let's go way up there. We're doing some Kesha tonight. That's my number. I've got a Kesha mix that I love. That's a bunch of her songs. I'm such a Kesha fan. I love her reinvention now that she's like free from Dr. Luke. That never should have happened. And I'm so glad that she's like got her own company now and is making her own music. Ooh, a chai flavor. Interesting. I like that. Okay, so now we're going to go into Timmy. This blush is called Timmy. Is there something? He's British, so maybe there's something. Timmy is like a slang word that means something. But this blush, or there's maybe a Timmy that he's referencing that I'm not aware of. I'm going to go right to the apples of the cheek. Sometimes I like to do these like looks that are blush heavy, but it's a little bit more of like a peachy naturally kind of color. So it doesn't feel as heavy as when I do like a really blush heavy that's like fuchsia pink blush. And I've been in a pink blush moment. So I was like, for Pride, I'm going to specifically do more of like a peachy, berry, orangey combo, I think, because I have really been getting back into pink blushes. But I was like, I haven't done a really good peach blush for a while. Let's do it. This combo, I think it's going to be all right on stage. I always forget that like this hairline, all this stuff here where it darkens, it looks really dark. That's going to be covered up by the wig. So I think I start to like doubt myself, but I think it's actually going to be okay. And I like that kind of blushy, because then we're going to bring some highlight in. I have so many other blush products. Is that really all I'm going to use for the blush? I am ridiculous. Let's start building some highlighters. So to start, this is a blush pod. No, a bronze pod. This is one of their bronzers, but this is in Cinnamon Girl. And I'm going to use the brush that I used for this light. And this should be like a shimmery. Okay, let me test my arm a little bit. I've played with this before, and it just kind of gave me, I'm hoping it mixes well with this, because it's going to help kind of maybe shimmer up this blush a little bit before we really get into, yeah, I like that a little bit, because I like a little bit of shimmer, a little moment to my blush. And this has just the faintest, but it also helps kind of tamp down some of that color that we've built into all this blush. So much blush. All right, now highlighter. Let's do, oh, there's a highlighter that I know I want. Is it this one? Nope, that's a pinky one. I think this is it. Yeah, these, again, I hate this packaging, but this one, I brought this on my trip, and it's even starting to break a little bit, but I just love it. These like peachy tones, I think are going to be really beautiful. Let me grab a highlighting brush. This is a really big one, but I think that we need a lot of highlight. Yeah, I haven't tried kombucha. I keep hearing about it, and I don't know if I would like it. Because is it fermented? Is there something with kombucha that's like fermented? Or is it just like a tea? Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more. Oh, I like that. But, I don't know that any of that is coming through on the camera. But it's just got a nice little highlight. Because I can't remember if kombucha is. So this is how my crazy brain works. Is that sometimes my brain will put together things that I know are not the same thing, and I will continue to know that they're not the same thing, but I'll start to mix up little things about them. And so for me, it's kombucha and kimchi, because I know kimchi is like a fermented cabbage dish, like a Korean dish. And so then I think kombucha is fermented, but I don't know. Ooh. Matcha. I do like matcha stuff. Oh, hello, Grace. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. I don't think I've missed anything else. Yeah, welcome, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. If you are a fragrance fan and if you like Sniff, Grace has a code for Sniff. I've been very excited because Sniff has some of their fragrances in Ulta, but a lot of their secret recipe collection, some of them I think are supposed to be coming to Ulta now. I think they started with the like croissant one, but most of them right now are currently still only available on the website. So if you use Grace's code, you can get 10% off, and they have a pretty good loyalty reward program on the Sniff website as well. So definitely check that out. Yeah, so we're getting, I don't know that, oh, we can kind of, there we go. There you can see some of that highlight. It's very peachy. I might put like a pearly highlight on top, but I think for the nose, oh, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. But do it in peach. Okay, never too much highlight. Love that. I am going to bring in a little bit of this is another one of these little highlighter duos. But I'm going to bring this pearly one in, and I'm going to put that on top just so that I get a little bit more of the flash, because I'm liking it, but I want, oh, there we go. Look at that. Look at that. Ah, I love it. And then it'll tone down the nose a little bit because the nose got a little crazy. It's still staying very peach. Ooh. Interesting. Interesting. I do like matcha stuff sometimes. If you've tried the matcha Kit Kats, I really, really like those. I know that's not a drink, but if you ever see the matcha Kit Kats, they are really, really good. I do like that this pearly color is kind of lightening up some of this highlight. There we go. All right, I am liking this. Okay, now we need to add a little bit of shadow to the brows. We have to do my little ombre brows. Find the little... All right. There, the pencil brush will work. All right, so I'm going back into the little photo palette, and I'm going to do a little bit of the light blue, and then I think I'm going to do a little bit of the peach, just at the very... Actually, I might do some of that pearl highlighter, and keep this very blue. So we're going to do a little bit of blue, because we know I can't do my brows without some shimmer. Always got to have a bit of shimmer through the brow. There we go. And you know what I forgot? I just realized that because I was so focused on getting the Made by Mitchell stuff, I forgot my little star stamp to do my beauty mark. So I won't have a beauty mark with this look, but I think that's all right. We're doing very Malibu Barbie, very bronzed in the sun kind of look. Love it. Love, everybody's loving matcha. We love that. Yes, love it. Everybody's chatting. Love that. I'm so glad that everybody joined me. Thanks for stopping by my live. I know it was kind of impromptu, but I just was feeling like a little get ready with me since I've been talking about doing this brand review of Made by Mitchell. I was like, well, this is a perfect chance for us to get together, and I'll do pretty much a whole face of Made by Mitchell. I'll do that little bit of that highlighter in there. There we go. Just a little shine. I think I'll do some of this highlighter underneath the brow over here. I know that's such a like 2016 YouTuber thing to do, the like highlight under the brow, but I love it. I love it. There's so much stuff that like I will play around with some trends, but there's some things that I'm just like, I just like that. And I'm going to keep doing it, whether it's cool or not. I love a little underbrow highlight. There we go. Let's do a lip. I'm gonna do lashes because I'm getting close to where I have to be like getting ready to go. So I'll throw a little mascara on. I'm gonna do lashes after we shut down the live, but I wanna make sure we get a lip on before we go. And so since you're not going to see lashes, I'll post pictures, but you're not going to see lashes on the live. I'll at least put a little bit of mascara so that you get a little bit of sense of, I mean, my lashes are so small. Even this is the Melt Supernatural, and this does a pretty good job, but my lashes are just so pathetic that you just don't get much of a difference, but it does darken them and get them ready for some falsies. And because we're doing this, yes. Oh, Locke is back. Hello. Hello again. Let's see. I do have, because we know that I love my Chola lip with a darker brown. So this is all lip, no trip. This is a pencil, and this is a mechanical pencil. Interested to see how this works. I've had interesting experiences with Made by Mitchell pencils. But the sharpening ones, I really had trouble with. But we're going to try this little mechanical one. And then I have some nude lipsticks. So I'm going to go in. And we overdraw lips in this house. Remember that your anatomy is only a suggestion. Let me see if I can tilt this camera down a little bit. Ugh. Yes, but will it stay? Okay. What if I go, oh, there we go. Oh, figured it out. If only I had done that an hour ago. Sorry. I get some of this foundation off the lips. Oh, hello. Well, I'm glad you are listening. I'm glad you're back. Welcome. Welcome back. All right. Oh, I'm getting really close, and now I'm covering my lips again. Let me try this again. There we go. And when I overdraw, I always try to get, I think Trixie goes pretty far out, but I try to get close to the edge of my mouth because I feel like if I overdraw too close to the little like hinge of the lip, I don't know what you call it, but I feel like it looks really strange on me. And so I try to curve back in. So and since we're overdrawing, oh, I'm still off camera. Okay. Yeah, so the hair, I've got like a golden blonde with tinsel in it, like holographic tinsel. So it's very gold, very wheat blonde kind of color for my performance. And then the To the Venue is like a bleach blonde with pink ends. So that one's just a go-to. And so that one, it's a little bit more pink, but it's kind of like a rosy pink. It's not like a cool bubblegum pink. So I think that'll still work with this peachy. And then for this, I've got more of like a golden color blonde. Okay. So we've got kind of a basic lip line. Let me set this where I won't lose it because I might need it again. And then I've got these two Mattitude lipsticks. So this lighter one is very nude, extra cream, that's called. Oops, wrong way. And then I have this one, which is, his stickers also sometimes fall off. So I don't know what this is called, but this is more of like a slightly more like cocoa with a lot of cream kind of brown. So I'm gonna start with this one. Usually for a show, I would prefer liquid lipstick, but since I'm trying Made by Mitchell and I had these lipsticks, and since I'm only doing one performance, I was like, a lipstick should work. And what I'm gonna do actually, this is a trick I picked up from Erin Parsons, who quoted it from Kevin Aquan, is I did a layer of the lip liner and the lipstick, and now I'm gonna go over that with powder, and then I'm gonna do another layer. Did I bring a powder puff? Probably not. But I do have that powder sponge. Where did you go, powder sponge? Here you are. Back into the polite society. And I'm going to use a clean side of this because I've used this for a couple things, but I'm just going to go in. I'm just going to generously powder the lip. There we go. Ooh, I'm liking this nude lip. I've been liking nude lips more. This side of my lip is real crooked. Now we'll do a second layer of the lip liner and the lipstick. Maybe try to, let's see. This liner is definitely fighting with the powder. Yeah, this lip liner is not a fan of that. I cleared that up a little bit, but I moved my lips so much that I think it's going to be all right. As long as I get that distinction. So, oops, that's the lighter color. Let's do another. There we go. And then I'm going to do a little bit of this light color. Oh, I like the way that mixes. Oh, I like that. I don't know if it's looking as good on camera, if I'm even staying on camera, but I do like that. I do have a gloss, but I think I might, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be crazy. I'm going to powder this again, and then I'll put the gloss over the powder. I may end up hating that, but because I really want this lip to stay, it'll give, oh, that's a matte lip. We like it. Okay. Now I'm going to get the gloss. This is where it's going to get fun. Because I have this kind of corally peachy gloss that's called Sugar Shine. And I think that this is going to peach up that nude lip a little bit. Oh, I like it. It's mixing a little bit and my lip texture is coming through, but I don't hate it. I have texture on my lips. I just do. And then I'll bring that with to the venue. I like that. That's pretty. And it gives it just a little pop of color. Yes, thanks everybody. All right, I think that's it. 5:03. I'm supposed to be heading over there soon. So I'm gonna go. I will make sure that I post a full look once I've got the drag and the hair and I've got eyelashes on and everything. But this is the full look without eyelashes. So thanks everybody for stopping by. Thank you, Sarah. I do love a matte lip lock. I love it. That's usually my go-to, but I've been loving like goopy lips, like goopy glossy lips. There's something about it. Thank you everybody for stopping by. I really appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed this. And I'll have pics from our fabulous FM Pride block party coming later. And so I appreciate everybody. Don't forget to give a thumbs up. Or if you think that I'm just a loudmouth and I talk too much, you can go ahead and give me that thumbs down. It's all engagement. The algorithm isn't a picky bitch, and neither am I. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that subscribe and hit that bell notification so you'll be updated every time I do an upload. I try really hard. I've been slacking a little bit, but I try to have at least one every week. And I try to sprinkle it among Glam, Geek, and Gore. And if you're lucky, very lucky, you might even get a bonus video. Ooh, Pride-orific. And while you're down there, and if you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down in the description box below, including a link to my website, The World of Champagne, at janessaj.com. It's not going to pop up because this is a live. I love and appreciate everybody. Have I missed any final thoughts in the chat? Take care, everyone. Take care. Goodbye. Everybody's saying goodbye. I love it. Thank you so much. I love and appreciate all of you. And until I see you again, bye. Now, how do I turn this off? Seriously, though, how do I turn it off? Oh, let's see. Oh, it's off the screen. How do I turn this off? How many minutes will it take me struggling before I can figure out how to turn this off? Thanks, Grace. I don't, it's off the screen, but it doesn't have scroll bars for me. Honestly, how do I turn this on? Can I use, oh, there we go. Okay. All right. I found it. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. And yes, I mean it for sure. Bye.